should be going. And oh, there we go. All right. So Jenny started just a little bit earlier. So yeah, getting into it. So the way this is going to work, we're doing 24 Mavericks. So that means they're going to be fighting the 8 Mavericks from X1, X2, and X3. Because the only way you can get to the Mavericks is by playing the intro, we're going to be playing the intros for each of the stages also. So as you can tell, the X1 intro is notorious for a lot of mashing. You're just going to be running right. We don't have dash boots yet. You're going to be running right and hit and shoot as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I want to say this is probably 80% of the mashing in this run.
Yeah, not a whole lot of mashing in most X games, at least compared to the classic games. But this stage has a lot of it. The other important thing with this one is you're going to have a fight at the end of it. Have to. And so we see that both of them are down to 3 health. That's going to be important. You have to be at 3 or lower in order to lose the fight with Vile. So you want to get there before you get to him. And yeah, we got a great sync. They both made it through the 2B as well. Didn't have any issues there, which is very nice. Let's see. They're both at 3 health, so they're going to skip the task cars. This is really tightly synced up through the intro. Alright, so we see the ship coming down. Now, as long as you kill the cars fast enough, it should only drop 2 on you. But then you also need to rely on the ship being in the right position so that you don't have to lose time. So we see Waldo got pretty close. That time that Jenny is waiting is for the ship to move into place. So that's a little bit of RNG. You can control it to some degree, but the game kind of decides what you get there. So Waldo got captured a little quicker. It looks like about a 201 grab compared to a 203, 204. So 2, maybe 3 second advantage. That was a really tight intro.
It's not a bad, good intro. A lot of people have problems on this one and sometimes die, so it's kind of cool to get them both through.
Yeah, very easy to die on the intro here because you've got to get your health so low. Any slight miscalculations can finish it, so that was good. And the closer you are to 2 minutes, you know you're having a really good time through the intro. So they both did great there. Gonna be heading to Chill Penguin now because we got to get the dash boots so that we can go fast. So no matter what route you're taking through this game, you always got to do Penguin first. And the first half of the stage is kind of interesting because we don't have the boots yet. You got to have your shots. Let's see. Yeah, both of them had a little bit of trouble at the second rabbit. Jenny took a bonk. Waldo avoided it. So that's going to get him just a little bit more time. And then this section that Waldo's coming up to right now, this game, well, all of the games have what we call slope jumps. So when you're walking downhill, you move just a little bit faster than walking normally. And that also means that when you jump higher. So we saw both of them, Waldo and then now Jenny just did it, do a little turnaround. So they walk downhill for a second and then jump up, and that gives you the height to make those jumps. So it's really tight. Oh, and Jenny got the dash or the slope jump into the capsule. So again, just saving a few frames with those, but it keeps you from having to go all the way to the edge and then jump up. Makes the climb up there quite a bit quicker. And now we got the dash boots. Let's see. Oh, Waldo takes an unfortunate bump there before he gets to the no stop. And,
yeah, that was almost scary.
Yeah, went down a bit. Jenny did get a no stop. Had to slow down just a hair, but that was quick. And now the snowball section coming up is a very technical area. It looks pretty simple, but jumping over the snowballs and getting all of the shots into the throwers is pretty tight. Let's see. And
yeah, Waldo made it through really well.
Yeah, he did great. Jenny took 1 bonk, but that's not a problem. So yeah, they're both having really good times going to Penguin also.
Surprisingly, one of the more technical bosses too, Penguin. He's tricky.
Yeah, and a lot of RNG as well. So what we don't want to see is slides. Every time he's sliding, you're losing time because he's involved there. Those ice sculptures that Waldo's getting, that's a pretty good pattern, but you still got to land the hits through it, which makes it really difficult. Looks like Jinny is getting a little bit better RNG, but neither of them are too bad. Waldo gets good hit to finish it off, and then about 2 seconds behind is Jinny, so really tight still.
Yeah, and they both finished pretty close to the center.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. For X1, you'll see everybody trying to finish their fights right in the arena if they can. That's because you'll have to walk to the middle to teleport out. That is only a feature in X1. I think in X2 they realized that was a little bit silly and you just teleport out from anywhere. But you can lose a significant amount of time if you're not very close to the center, especially if you're way on the edge. The time that it takes to walk across is kind of a big loss. So
I want to say that was brought over from Classic Mega Man, if I remember right. Centered that a lot of them were even frame perfect. You can even save the jump. And some of them at least 4 and 5, and I think some of the others, but it might have been pulled from Classic.
Waldo does a good job getting through that first turtle quickly. He's going to have to wait just a hair on the second. And Jinny also, let's see, also does just a little bit of waiting. So with very, very good move, get through these turtles the fastest way possible, and it does involve taking one hit. Both of them got through the first turtle really quickly, but then had to wait up just a little bit. So, a small bit of waiting, but that keeps them pretty even still.
I can't remember if the spike glitch actually saves any time or not, or if it's just to avoid enemies.
Yeah, it's just a safety thing. What they're doing there, you saw Jinny do it a lot, is you just get close to the wall that has a spike that would normally hurt you. And if you try and do a wall kick off of them without holding a direction, so you just jump up and then hit jump again, the game will have you kick off of it and give you the invincibility frames, but you don't take any damage. So it's just a little glitch. Makes it a lot easier for getting through that part. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just stand on the side. And Jinny got through the vertical section outside a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Waldo got that health drop. Maybe it'll help out in the fight, unless there's some mistakes, but definitely slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Waldo is in better shape going into the fight. Now, we watched them warming this up. I think Waldo's going to go for the dance, and yeah, Jinny doesn't... Oh, Waldo doesn't quite get it. I think he jumped just a hair early. So Jinny's in a little bit of trouble for health. Let's see. Waldo's getting kind of the slower pattern with all the teleports, but it's really nice and safe. Jinny should be good now. After Quanger is below half health, is usually...
That was close.
Yeah. Start teleporting away. And then, as long as you don't move, if you just stay in the same place, then you'll be okay. But at the beginning of the fight, he can teleport right on top of you or dash at you, do all kinds of things. So... Man, really good work by both of them to survive that, and Jinny took a significant lead there. Is that about 5 seconds? 5 or 6?
Yeah, about, but pretty close, pretty close. We got a race.
So going into Chameleon now. Chameleon, we now have the weakness for with Goomer Quanger, and after this it'll be close to just weakness order. Usually you want to get Penguin and Quanger out of the way. Quanger is a really fast buster fight, and so that's why we do Quanger right away and then get into the weakness order. Since this is just the Mavericks, you're not going to see a whole lot of safeties being picked up, not a lot of heart tanks or sub-tanks. That also means you're not getting the arm, which is why, since we didn't kill the green biker dad up above the cave, now we got all the block spawns. And both of them got trolled a little bit by blocks, but I think Waldo might have gotten the worst of it.
Yeah, I think Jinny mostly just got hit at the end there, but it was relatively smooth, not too bad. Decent swamp too.
Yeah, that's a good time going into the door. Definitely gained a few more seconds on Waldo.
He took a hit though, so we'll see if he can get through the fight.
And Chameleon fight, anybody that's even played the game casually probably knows how this fight goes. Just walk left, shoot, walk right, shoot. Really the only trick is timing it so the iframes, and you see Jinny is shooting all the shots. That's just to make sure even if one goes into iframes, yeah, no problems. And Waldo's going to do the same thing. Just going to make sure they hit as soon as possible. There you go.
It's all downhill now.
Alright, so let's see. Jinny teleported out at 10:03. We'll see what Waldo's time is. Still really tight. There we go. Looks like about 10 seconds.
And this stage can be kind of scary sometimes, especially if you're a little nervous playing in front of everybody. But one little slip, and then you're restarting at the beginning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing, but there is a really easy tank here. But it costs just a little bit of time. So if you want the safety of it, let's see. Jinny is not going to go for it. I don't know exactly how many seconds it costs you, but it's not a whole lot, maybe about 10 seconds in order to get that sub-tank. And some people that play more, yeah, we see Waldo's going for it. If you play more 100%, you're probably more familiar with the setup for the platforms when going up to the sub-tank. So that's a big reason a lot of people do it.
Yeah, it sets up the enemies a little bit different.
There we go. Yep, and Waldo makes it through, no problem. So loses just a little bit of time on that, but now he's got that going forward. If anything goes wrong, he's got a backup. And C-Sting is the weakness for Eagle, so Jinny's going in with C-Sting already equipped. Waldo's just about to get to the fight.
Good pattern for Jinny. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Yeah. So you don't want to see the dives. Oh, and then one dive and going up and back down is almost worse because of the amount of time it takes from the slowly down screen. But not too bad in the RG, and then gets some dives too. So and the same thing, and then straight back down. So nobody's really gaining time just from RG. So yeah, for Fishy in chat there, the 24 Mavericks, we're just going to be fighting the 8 Mavericks from X1, X2, and X3. So as soon as they finish their 8th one, they're just going to close it down, either put a new card in or select a different ROM depending on how they're playing, and then go on to the next game. So no Sigma stages at all.
Yeah, we throw in a 30-second delay in between each game just to try to make it fair for everybody. So if you can change your controls, you don't have a disadvantage over somebody with default or playing on emulator.
Alright, so Mandrill stage, first of all, has amazing music, which I love. And it's a really technical stage. Moving through these hallways with the little fireflies running past, you gotta really time your shots well and with them. We see both of them using the Tornado strats, which is a little bit easier. Well, it's a lot easier and a little bit slower. But that way they can make sure to go through. And then Thunder Slimer, this mid-boss here, can be a real pain sometimes. Jinny got pretty good luck with it. Waldo got hit a couple times, and Thunder Slimer does a ton of damage on contact, so he's hoping for a health drop here. Does not get it. He's going to have to be careful.
At least there's... He can still get it here, hopefully. No?
Yeah, he's going to probably try and farm a little bit to try and get something.
See, the tough part of that, too, is because you're not used to pausing there, too, so you can get thrown off and get hit by one of the shots, too.
Oh, he's going to go for the heart in order to get the health from it, I think. Yeah, that was actually probably a good idea. Some guaranteed one so you can survive one hit. Meanwhile, Jinny is in the fight already. With, well, he gets a little bit of a drop there. The Spark Mandrill ices this, and as you can see, it freezes it. But you can hit him as he's coming out of the freeze, and his iframes are reset. So that you can get some double hits in and make it go a little faster. And Waldo got some drops at the very end there, so now he's going into the fight with full health. He's got to be happy about that. But that does mean Jinny took a pretty lead. Just kind of some bad luck there. But Waldo, yep, and that's the scary thing with Mandrill, especially in this one where you don't have a ton of health or arm or anything. When he does those punches, those can do a ton of damage. Oh, and then here we see Waldo finish the fight over on the wall. I don't know if he just wasn't quite paying close enough attention, but that walking across gives it some time.
Yeah, and Jinny opted not to go Mammoth.
Yeah, this is where we might be seeing some route divergence. I think. Okay, Waldo's also going to
both the same.
Dillo. So when you do Flame Mammoth is kind of completely up to preference. There's no real advantage to doing it sooner or later, aside from maybe just menuing a little bit quicker. The one thing I'm sure Waldo will do, I don't know if Jenny, is you want to do Mammoth before Octopus, because just about 2 weeks ago, it was discovered that you can use Mammoth's weapon to get out of the suck attack by Octopus. And so, oh man, I didn't see, Jenny fell off the cart. I didn't see how it happened though.
Yeah, I just missed that too.
It is possible to clip through the cart if you're really unlucky, so that might have been it. I'm not sure.
Isn't there's a way to flip it a little bit too? I've done that before.
There you go, makes it the second time. So some of that was gained on Mandrill, now lost. We see Waldo just about to get to the final card, so just a little bit behind now.
They said in chat he got hit by a bat.
Oh, yeah, that will happen. We saw both of them kind of jumping up and down on the cart there. That's in order to try and get over the spawn triggers for the. We saw Waldo had a couple of the end. You want to try and keep those from spawning if you can, because they add a ton of lag. So when you're jumping up and down on the cart to try and avoid those, you also got to be really wary of where the bats are at. Otherwise, that can happen. Alright, let's see. So right about 55 was the teleport for Jinny. Yeah, so it looks like Waldo's going to be a little less than 20 seconds behind.
Yeah, and Jinny's going to Octopus. That's interesting.
Okay, so he's going to do Mammoth last. This kind of used to be the standard. Like I said, it was just about a week or two that was discovered, so it makes sense that people might not want to switch their routes up if they're used to something. The nice thing about doing Mammoth fast is Mammoth stage is quite a bit easier than Octopus, so it can be kind of, a bit of a relaxing situation compared to doing Octopus. And Waldo is going. That was what they expected there.
Yeah, he gets that potential reset stage out of the way a little earlier. Oh, that was close. Really close to spikes.
Those subs can really control you. Oh, and Waldo's using ice to get through this minor section. It's a little bit unique. Jinny trying to get through those torpedoes, those can control you, and that's totally the RNG. You don't have to control it. Come out.
Jinny's health isn't too bad, but he did not grab the sub tank, so he'll have to be a little careful.
Yeah, good point. Octo is always a little bit of a scary fight, and with no, I don't think he got any of the heart tanks either. So this is going to be a little exciting.
Yeah, he took one hit extra than he probably wanted.
Okay, so there we see that's the suck attack, the wolf. And so Jinny does go up to cancel it and just mashes to get out of it. That's kind of the traditional way, and no problem.
Yeah, good fight, good fight.
And so while Jinny was finishing that up, we also saw Waldo taking out Mammoth, no problem. So, man, really synced up on the teleports out, though Octopus's stage is a little. So, I don't think Waldo really gained much time, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty tight coming out of X1. There we go. And I guess since I didn't have a chance to Mammoth fight, but if you were watching Waldo's screen, you use Tornado, and if you can place it right, you'll get 2 hits on Mammoth with each Tornado, because it takes so long to kind of accelerate and go through with the iframes. So looked like Waldo had a good fight there. Mammoth is really a pretty easy one, but if you screw up your timing on the tornadoes, you can lose a decent amount. So you got to be kind of mindful of placing them.
And this last section that Jinny's on too is kind of cool. There's a lot of different tech here on different strategies to get through. It's a really smooth section.
And so yeah, we see Jinny getting into the fight. Waldo's just getting to this last mini boss, the Ouroboros, where you just sit there and wait till you can see the very corner of their head. It's in the tornado and should take them out. And so you see those double hits happening. There we go. So about a 20-48 kill for Jinny. It's a really good X1. Waldo's not going to be too far behind.
Yeah, it looks like Jinny's using Virtual Console.
And so, as we mentioned before, once you're through the 8th Maverick, you just cut the game, go straight to the next one. But then you do have to wait 30 seconds before you can start it. If you try and swap as fast as possible, you can definitely do it faster than 30. And there we see Jinny getting going. Waldo is also going to have to change controls, and that's why we have that rule. That if you've got to change control, actually swap physical cards or anything, then it's fair for everybody.
Looks like 20 seconds, I think. 20 seconds behind.
Yeah,
it's close. There's so much RNG in the bosses here too, unless you get the tricks perfect. So this is definitely a race still.
Yeah.
And I don't know Jinny's experience on X2.
I'm not sure either. Waldo is definitely primarily an X1 runner, but he's been practicing a lot for this tournament. He's pretty well, so I think X1 is the strongest for both of them, but we'll see here pretty soon. This X2 intro, I think, a stage has some pretty tight moves, and when you get this boss fight, or if you've ever heard anyone talk about the CF0 strats, CF0 is the name of that giant robot, and so there's a lot of strategies that have been integrated into all of the games that were developed off of this idea of hitting a charge shot and then a dash lemon, a charge shot, just trying to get those going as fast as possible.
Yeah, and while it fell down, it's I believe it lags a little bit more, so you lose a little bit of time when you fall down. Not too bad though.
Yeah. Alright, so Jinny's going into Wire Sponge. Yeah, we want Wire Sponge to be the first Maverick for X2, because that's going to be the weakness for Wheel Gator, and we want to get to Wheel Gator quickly so that we can get the Armor Capsule. And Jinny is not going for the Heart Tank right at the beginning of the stage. There's a really easy to get one right at the beginning of the stage, but it is going to lose you a little bit of time backtracking to grab it. I'm sure we'll see Waldo go for it. Oh no, he doesn't. Okay. No.
Really easy E-Tank as well.
That's true, yeah, the E-Tank is also pretty quick.
I really love the weapon you get from Sponge. It really opens up movement in this game too. There's 2 different real movement tech heavy weapons that really open up the game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Strike Chain, and then I'm not sure what route these guys are taking, but Flame Stag's weapon, the burner, when you get that's one reason why we almost always get the grade for X2, is because the Charge Chain and the burner both give you a lot of movement options that make all the stages go a lot faster, and then not to mention being able to use the charge weapons for bosses. So Sponge is kind of a tough fight sometimes. You are kind of at the mercy of the RNG. You don't want to see that spin thing because you can't hit through it. And then now that he's kind of low on health, I think Jinny's going to be taking it easy, hoping to get him to do the thing.
Yeah, he just hit him, man. Yeah. It's too bad because in a regular X2 run, that's the first one you reset, but here, sometimes you just have to make him mad. You don't have a choice because you can't wait forever for him to give you the RNG you want.
And we saw the same kind of thing with Waldo. He just opted to try and hit him as much as possible. I think that's what a lot of people have been doing is just, you hope for good RNG, but you gotta keep hitting him.
It's a tough call to wait, a little bit to try to get it, or just make him angry right off the bat, because there's no guarantee he'll do it at all.
But yeah, Jinny handled that well. Waldo had a pretty good fight as well. Let's see. Yeah, it looked like stayed about the same, I think, about 15 to 20 seconds, somewhere in there. I didn't see exactly what the teleport times were.
Yeah, I'll try to see what it is now. He teleported into the stage at 42.
Yeah. So Gator's a really fun stage. We're gonna see quite a bit. Let's see. Waldo might have made up a little bit of time.
Yeah, 13 seconds or so.
Yeah, so he made up a little bit of time. As we see Jinny getting up to the capsule for the arm upgrade. Now Waldo's going to be going for it as well. So like I said, that's very useful in this game. This is the only one where we're going to be picking up the arm upgrade.
I think Waldo went for the quick capsule too, which is RNG too. You can pull yourself into the capsule just your toe by using the strike chain on the wall, but of course if the stage rumbles a little bit or shakes, then it doesn't work.
But yeah, we immediately see the usefulness of the strike chain, pulling people around. Jinny's making it through the little mech section there. And so Wheelgator coming up as a boss. He said this is Strike Chain, but he's actually a really tough boss when you use his weakness, because you've got to try and hit him in the small gap between when his ability frames open up and before he goes back down into the oil or blood or whatever that pool is. And so if you can get all of those hits with the strike chain, it's a whole lot quicker, but it is really difficult. So it'll be interesting to see. That would be a one way that this fight could really make a big difference if one of them is able to get a quick kill and one can't.
Yeah, I'd say this is the biggest boss in the series that you can lose a lot of time or gain a lot.
Yeah, that's probably fair. So they're both going in with the charge chain right away. Then he gets it started out well. Oh, okay, so I think that was 3 hits. Waldo missed the very first one. That's unlucky. There's a little bit of RNG in that, but you also have to make sure you're dashing on like the very first frame in order to make sure that you're charge chain at the beginning hits.
That was a pretty good finish by Jinny. He had a good fight.
Yeah, I like the strategy he used of switching to Buster to get some hits in and then going back to chain. When you hit him with the chain, he's guaranteed to sink back down in the very next action. So that's why it's good to use the Buster, even if it's not doing quite as much damage, to at least get that. So yeah, that's going to be Waldo's kind of getting trolled here. Man, just unlucky.
He also has a move that he can use that it's kind of like invincibility frames, but if you use a charge shot, you can still hit him. He's just immune to lemons.
So yeah, you got a couple hits in a row there. Oh man, grabbed.
At least he pops right back up after he gets grabbed. There we go.
There we go. Finish it off. But yeah, that's going to be, that's unfortunate. That's going to be a pretty big time loss for Waldo.
And Jinny's going bird third, the old route.
Yeah, so this ostrich third route, yeah, it's kind of the older one. But we still see quite a few people doing it. Again, if that's what you're used to, you know, it makes a lot more sense to keep doing the route that you're used to. but that does mean you got to do the Buster Duel Ostrich. Oh man, almost made the hard jump. Crashed in the next lap.
Yeah, not crashing the bike is deceivingly hard. It's all about not lagging the game, basically, and still shooting down. I believe it's 3 shots to knock down the little ramps.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, he got the jump across the big gap there, but I think only got 2 shots into the barrier before trying to jump over it, so that was what happened. And so we see Waldo going to Stag third. This is probably a little bit more common route. And the nice thing about it is you get the weapon from Stag, so that you can start using those charge burner techniques in the other stages. And as we see Jinny doing a good job with the Buster Duel on Ostrich. Oh,
he's close right now. Yeah.
That kick makes it a little scary. It's really kind of an awkward fight. Jumping around, and you gotta try and dash under him. Avoid. There we go. Avoid the sonic slicers.
No!
Oh, man.
So close. That move can be pretty difficult to maneuver around sometimes. I think I have a hard time with it. It's hard to avoid if you're not used to it.
And to go along with the conversation in chat, they're not going to get the leg upgrade in X2. The air dash really isn't useful for anything. In X2, it just gives you the horse air dash, and so there's really nothing that it helps you get or makes anything go faster. In X3, we'll probably see, I think both of them probably going for the best in X3. Right.
Yeah, I want to say it's 15 seconds you save in X3, but you lose all of that in some movement, some of the climbs, especially if you don't get the big jumps.
So Waldo is of course doing the Buster Duel against Stag, so he gets a difference between the Buster Duels and those two. He's doing a little bit of a switched up route. A lot of people will just use dash lemons and climb with them, but you can also stay at the bottom. Waldo's doing that charge strat that kind of gets the same thing accomplished, letting him jump around while you charge, and then fully in. Sorry about the commentary from my dog.
Waldo going Moth on the next one. That's actually a pretty scary fight sometimes. The movement in this too. There's so much trash. It's really tough to maneuver around all the enemies on the screen and still get through efficiently. And Jinny having a little bit of trouble with the fish here. He's got to kill him or he's got to come down to open the red gate you see there. Otherwise he can't move on. He lost a little bit of time there. Waldo might have caught up a little bit.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, and that last jump to make it to the towards the exciting. Yeah, I think Waldo doing the Moth Fort, that's not a route you see too often, but in what's called the Shuriken run, you usually do Moth Fort, and so that's the reason he took that one. It's just going to be to clear off the counter hunters off of the main screen as quickly as possible. So when he went to Stag, there was one of them there, I don't remember which one, and if you complete the stage without fighting the counter, then they will disappear. So by going to Stag and then Moth to Centipede next, that clears the counter hunters off as quickly as possible. And Jinny's got the crab fight, which is also a little bit of a scary one. But handles it no problem. That's an example of that CF0 strat, like I mentioned earlier, of shooting the regular, and then while it's going around on the screen, you can charge for the charge shot, and by alternating those, you can kind of maximize your damage output.
Yeah, he actually didn't have great RNG on that one. He couldn't get him to stick on one wall, but at the same time, you have to avoid when he jumps up and spikes you. Because your health, especially because he didn't grab anything yet, he doesn't have much health to work with.
And so Waldo doing the Moth fight. Moth is a pretty unique boss in that he starts out in this form and then does some metamorphosis halfway through. So now we see going to come out into beautiful full Moth form. But Moth does a ton of contact damage, and especially if you're using Charge Burner where you need to get up on him and use the invincibility frames from the charge version, it can be a pretty scary fight. But Waldo had no problem finishing him off quickly. And Jinny's now in Stag. I thought for just a second he might be going for tank there in the climb, but did not do it. So I'm doubting he's going to be picking up any safeties at all. Then, like I mentioned, Waldo's going to be doing Centipede next. So, since we did Moth, you do have the weakness for, but I'm not sure that he'll actually end up using. The Centipede's weakness is the Silk Shot, and you can certainly use that. All it does is knock his tail off and make him do nothing but teleports, which is actually a little bit slower. So, we'll see.
I believe up to 4 each time can be done. It's RNG based, and we'll see if he gets the tailspin glitch. It definitely saves time, but then you still have to wait on RNG because there's no guarantee he's going to do the attack you need to get it to start.
And we did get to see there from Jinny washing the horse when you got the bubbles. That fight is quite a bit faster than the Buster fight we just saw from Waldo. But then the same will also be true when Waldo goes to do the ostrich fight. It's a good bit quicker. Seeing Waldo using the strike chain for movement a good bit, but not a whole lot of burners. And there's one. So being a little conservative with movement, just making sure he made it through all those falling blocks safely. It's real easy to get crushed by those if you're not careful. So.
Yeah, and if you get caught by that crosshair, I believe it kind of upgrades this mini boss a little bit, makes it so he has a tiny bit more of HP potentially, and more moveset as well. Mm-hmm. So it'll slow you down, and that's not including all the lag with the blocks that come down.
Alright, so Waldo's going into the Centipede fight now. So he's going to be hoping for an attack called the Tailspin. Oh, and he gets it right away. Let's see. Yep, I think he got it. Yeah, perfect. So when Centipede does that Tailspin attack, if you time your movements just right, you've got to jump into the wall and slide down it as the pieces are coming back on. Then you can just barely see the edge of one of stuck inside the wall there, and the other one just circling around. When you get him stuck in this state, then he just sits there and tries to bring his pieces back together, and you can just unload on him. So that was perfect. You got the attack right away, handled it really well. That's going to be a nice time save.
Yeah, that's good. There's a couple different ways you can do it too. You can slide on the wall, lets you shoot your shots a little bit faster, and then you can switch the strike chain and kind of do a CFO with your charge as well to get that extra shot in. But it's not a huge time difference. That was good. Well done by Waldo.
Right.
Jinny's coming in with pretty low health here, so he'll have to be careful.
Yeah, that's going to be just a little.
And he has, I think, minimum ammo too for this fight. It's really close. He was just about half.
Yeah, I'm guessing he probably.
Oh, that's not good. He's gonna have to buster him a little bit.
Yes. I think what happened there, I'm not sure, but one of the problems with using the charged speed burner is it gives you invincibility frames, but if you are in your iframes, it won't add to them. So he took that hit from the trash, and I'm not sure if his iframes got fully reset before he went up to do the charge.
Yeah. I'm surprised he went with the burner right there. I thought he was going to use Buster initially and then burner on Moth when on his second stage. It's going to be tough now.
Yeah.
It's not a fun fight to do Buster only.
Okay, so he made it through the first half pretty quickly. Didn't have to wait for the big cycle. And he's going to get a couple more Buster shots in. Oh man.
He's using a good strat at least. He's got it. There we go. Good job.
And Waldo getting started on Snail. So Snail's weakness is the mines here. You can knock him out of the shell. The fun part here is then you can dash into his shell and knock it around. So you just get to play kickball with his shell and get hits in on him as quickly as you can.
All he wants to do is go back home.
Okay, so yeah, they've both got 2 bosses left, different length of stages, but this will at least give us a little bit better idea what the difference is. Let's see.
Oh, no, Jinny.
Oh, man, that's hard. So when you set off the alarm there with the spotlights are going back and forth trying to catch you, those enemies will drop down, but then as we also see, that little bridge across the platform also drops away. And so it got just a little bit off on timing. I'm sure he's not used to having that alarm going off. Tried to dash across it like normal. This whole stage for Centipede is very easy. Have some weird deaths where between the blocks falling and all of the burner and chain you have to do. Oh, and
yeah, I guess
lost.
So, yeah, he lost the bike. It's about the same place though as Jinny.
Yeah.
So. Jinny got hit by the spotlight, so it's going to move quite a bit faster. You can't shoot these down. It's going to be really laggy if he uses it with fire, though. Fire really lags it up when you shoot a single.
Alright, so yeah, he didn't get caught by the little analyzer thing, so that's good. And here, Waldo's doing the ostrich fight, so he's different when you have his weak. And kind of like Spark Mandrill in X1, you can get some double hits in. You see him dashing in to get that one right at the edge. So the iframes go out, but Ostrich is still frozen. Oh man, Jinny hoping to get some health. Got a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll use if he'll use his weakness or go for the glitch.
Yeah, if he gets the glitch, then I don't think there'll be a big difference in the lead, but oh, he gets it right away also. Oh, yes, nope, didn't get it. Man. Yeah, the jump onto the wall was a little bit early. Sure. Okay, so he is just going to switch to the silk shot. Since his health's a little low, that's definitely the safe way to do it.
I actually missed it. Does who does Jinny have left after this?
Snail.
Snail, okay.
Yeah, and Waldo is coming into his last one. So, with this fight not quite going Jinny's way, I think Waldo might be in the lead now. We'll see how his crab fight goes.
Yeah, he has to be really careful. Down to 1.
Man. So, yeah, Jinny's not using the charged shots, which do a little more damage, but they do cause a ton of lag, so it's kind of a tough call.
Yeah, okay. It's only 2. It's like a dash lemon.
There we go. Alright, finishes it out. That's good. But yeah, Waldo going into the final fight, and Jinny's got the whole snail stage, so with the different routes, it's hard to tell exactly when things happen, but I think the deaths for Jinny are what really cost him.
Yeah, Moth might have cost him the most time. Snail, though, the stage in general, pretty quick stage, so it could be worse. And Waldo not getting great RNG here with Crab.
Yeah. Crab's running away from every wheel. Oh, there's some better ones. Nice, okay, finishes it off. Looks like about 44.35 for the finish of X2. Going to be moving on to X3. So yeah, still really tight race. We saw Jimmy a bit faster. Now Waldo had a better X2. It's gonna definitely come down to X3.
Yeah, and anything can happen in X3.
I was hoping for a little health drop, maybe. Okay, Jinny's gonna go straight to the money too. You can start out with Buster for this fight. You can do a Charge Buster and get a couple hits in before you do it. But if you're not really comfortable with the setup for it, it's probably easier to just go with Magnum. And so while Waldo's going through the intro for X3, we will get to see the first appearance and last appearance from Playable Zero in just a minute.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of love in X3. Oh, Jinny died in Sail, no.
Oh man, that's not... Okay, for a second I was worried that was over. I should still have plenty of ammo though.
He can be a bully when he starts just diving for his shell. It's a little bit harder than, you know, the big, when he's jumping up, it's pretty easy to get him while he's in the air, but his dash can be a little more unpredictable.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna switch the audio to listen to read now. Excellent Zero theme. So yeah, this fight's really...
He's gonna have to just use one dash limit. There we go.
That's how that works.
Yeah, there's not a lot of love for Zero and X3. They brought him in. You can play him in the game, but there's only technically 2 mid bosses you can really use him with. So he can't play any of the final bosses or the stage bosses or the Mavericks. And the nice thing is, if you're new to the game, he has a pretty big health bar, so you can, he's more of a sponge for the level, and then you can use X in the bosses if you want it.
Yeah, that's true. Casually is great for just being a sponge. So, yeah, Waldo did a good job navigating through the intro. Just a matter of taking out the boss, which is no problem. And so we can see the difference in time is about the length for the intro. Jinny's just getting started while Waldo's finishing it up. So
yeah, the intro's about 3 minutes, a little less than 3 minutes.
Call it maybe 2:45 or so. So Waldo is going to be going to Lizard Buffalo first. A couple reasons for that. One, you want to get the Frost Shield weapon as soon as possible. One reason for that is that bit, and so we'll be encountering bits sometime between Mavericks 3, 4, and 5. So you want to make sure that you've got the Frost Shield. He's probably going to be getting the boots also, which are in this stage. And then this is the weakness for Seahorse, so that'll set him up for the next stage.
Yeah, there hasn't been many changes in the rounds for X3 in a long time, but it's a very OP weapon for the ice. You just have to get really close. It's the only downside to it. You have to kind of get right up in the face of whatever you're shooting.
Ooh, Jinny had a nice little gap jump there with Zero. I don't know, again, I'm not sure how much Jinny is used to X3. That's a pretty good sign. Could be having some good movement through here. Might end up tightening up the race a little.
You know, second reason too, I think that they do this route is because we're doing Seahorse next, and you want to eliminate the mid boss for Seahorse too. If you were to play him 3, 4, or 5, then you're playing against Bit, whose weakness is ice. and the mini boss in Seahorse's ice as well, and then of course Seahorse himself is weak to ice. So, and then even in 100%, you're using ice a lot of the time to get one of the not a sub. I believe it's a sub tank if I remember it right, but you've run out of ammo really fast. So if you mash too quickly, then you end up having a bust room at the end, which really you lose a lot of time on.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Waldo coming into the fight now, we saw him miss the jump up to the boot first time, and that's unfortunate because you just got to do all that backtracking, lose some time. But now our friend Buffalo here is not the most exciting fighter. You can trick the AI. Basically, every time he turns around, you'll see Waldo jumping up in the air. Buffalo gets confused and thinks you're jumping over him when he tries to turn around and dash to where you're going to be, and you can just have him sit there and dash and walk away.
See, I always thought he was just trying to run away from Max. He's scared.
That could be it too. Jump up in the air and that's scary. So, no problem with the fight. We'll see how Jinny does navigating through the stage.
Yeah, overall, I think Jinny's movement's been pretty good in X3 so far. We'll see. And then I saw so many chats that Waldo's been playing and practicing X3 a lot too, so hopefully we get maybe a PB.
Yeah, I see for both of them the red timers right now. I don't think either one is going to be on PB pace, but the fact that they're close makes it pretty exciting.
And Jinny got a couple more of the gap jumps too. That first one's really important because you have the oh, he's not going for the dash boots either. Interesting. Trying to save some time.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll get to see even just in Seahorse here this doing will look quite a bit different with Jinny without the boots. Not having that up dash can make some things kind of awkward, but it also makes the general movement sometimes easier. The air dash can get in the way occasionally. So if you're not used to it, then that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, there's really only two places where you could really use the dash boots, but even basic movement like the climb in Seahorse, both of them, it's easier with the dash boots for sure. So see if he keeps his movement up good, because that can you can lose that 15 seconds pretty quickly, because you gain about 15 when you skip it.
So Waldo taking out the mini boss, as you mentioned earlier, the Frost Shield is the weakness for the mini boss and for Seahorse. So you got to be a little bit careful with your ammo. Waldo's definitely picking up the health, not taking any chances.
See, this climb that Waldo's doing can usually be a little bit easier with that up dash.
Yeah,
not too hard though.
Oh, and Jinny's going to.
That's a.
Yeah, that might have been a missed menu. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he doesn't have his weakness.
And Beetle is a completely trivial fight with his weakness, but pretty tough without it. So.
Yeah, he's not fun.
We will get to see one of the elevator skips.
I can't see. I've seen somebody do this route on purpose, at least.
Yeah, I think that had to have been a mistake from anyway. Which is unfortunate. Waldo's got to be a little careful. He's gonna.
At least it's just one charge. Should be all right.
It's no problem. Let's see if Jinny can get this elevator skip.
You know, I'm surprised too that he didn't actually initiate the elevator, because if you have a hard time, it can come up and, if worst case, you know, make it so you can jump to the next level. Without it, then you have to get it.
Oh man, yeah, these are really tight jumps. People often compare them to Iceless in X1. There we go, gets it. Or
one more.
Even like in the beginning of Living Buffalo, the bootless jump to get up to the tank is also this kind of thing. There we go.
You still got 2 more of those jumps to do. And you know, I don't know if I'd consider the ones in Hornet more difficult or not. they're a little different. The setup is harder, but I feel like the jump isn't as far out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I always do them with the boots, so I can't really say.
I've done it without just for fun, but I don't know. It's tough to do in front of everybody else too in a race. It's not an easy jump.
Oh, and Conster helping us out says Jinny's done a lot of busts her own, so should be fine in this fight. It does have full health going in, which helps. But yeah.
If you know the pattern, it's definitely something you can avoid. And the only bad thing is, of course, their iframes will be shorter with the buster only, but then he has this special move that he's doing right there, and his weakness would cancel that out. It's kind of like in the Tiger fight where you can use the Crab's weapon basically to cancel out his attack, and you can save some time from his invincibility frames.
Yeah. Oh man, it's.
And they got rid of the dash shot too in X3, so. Yeah,
that's another point that I guess we haven't mentioned in any of the games, but in X1 and X against the bosses, we saw a lot of what we call dash lemons. Just when you have dash speed, whether it's during the dash or in the jump afterwards, you can shoot and it'll do double damage. In X3, that works for regular enemies, but for the boss. So that's why we see a lot more charge shots. But Jinny finished off the fight.
Yeah, he got through it. That's impressive. And Waldo finishing up the mid boss for Rhino, the last, I guess the second to last mashing sequence. You know, depending on what his strat is for crab or for crawfish.
And Waldo did not get bit during Tunnel Rhino, right? I don't think I would have.
No, he's really low in health. Hopefully he grabs a little bit. He can take maybe one hit right now. And he does not want to get hit by the charge shot. That's 8 damage.
There it is. So
he's going to have to do the mid-boss again now.
The Frost Shield, yeah, we'll have to do the mini-boss. The Frost Shield forces a health drop from any enemies that are on the ground or the ceiling. So you'll see him using that. Yeah, I'm going to go pick up that health. But Tunnel Rhino is a really tough stage because everything in here does a ton of damage. And then the really unfortunate part is if you die during the stage, then Rhino is going to have different AI, so he's going to be a lot harder at the boss fight since Waldo died. So really unfortunate, and just the time lock to get to do this mini boss again.
Yeah, it's one of the more punishing ones. Probably the most punishing, I'd say. I've seen it happen in 1-to-1 runner here in Seahorse. If you fall and the spike's right before the boss, that one is very punishing as well. Because then you go back to the mini boss, and of course his weakness is ice. So you end up having to just use smashing with the buster because you can't afford to lose it.
And as you mentioned earlier, you don't want to hit in Seahorse, and that's exactly what Jinny got.
Yeah, so, he's got to be. He's going to have to mash the mini boss for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that had to have been this menu for sure. So we go back to Seahorse now.
Well, it's common at 100%, but not beetle it early. That's odd. But yeah, I think you're right.
And Waldo again had to be careful making it through there. Now he's got really low health going into run. The good news is
one hit will kill him.
Word to die here is at least a pretty quick death. We'll start from boss forward over. And there we go. See, that's the.
It adds 2 attacks, I believe. That one, and then there's one where he kind of lines up 2 or 3 drills, shoots him forward, then he rushes you, and you can jump over it. Good mini boss kill by Jinny. Good mashing.
Yeah, and as we expected, just a buster for that. Should have enough ammo. Man, see that? Yeah, that shot coming out of the shoulder, top, especially when you're not used to it. That's right where you're going.
There you go. Nice shot by Waldo there.
Yeah. Man, so yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. Yeah, this is posted for both of them. It's the third Mavericks, so we're going to be pretty close. I think Waldo still has a slight lead, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you still got a little bit of lead. It's close though. The stages, both stages are pretty long.
Yeah, Seahorse is long. I think Rhino is one of the longest in the game for sure. But and so we see Jinny getting a little bit of the mashing in. Took it pretty easy, I'm guessing. Make sure that ammo was okay.
Yeah, his hitbox with Crawfish is another one, but Seahorse, depending on when you actually hit him with the ice shot on the top, you get him while he's in his jump, and the higher up he is, the more time you have without iframes to mash. And you can't mash completely outright. If you mash as fast as you can, you actually will you'll lose some ice, but still, it's pretty tough to do. It's all about timing.
Yeah, so they have both made it through number Maverick. Jinny doing Tiger now. So yeah, again, kind of an interesting route. I would have expected to see Rhino next. Jinny does not have the weakness for Tiger, which is the spinning blade, but that's okay because the Buster fight is actually faster. It's nice to have the spinning blade for the very end of it, but certainly not necessary. Buster fight is very quick. And Waldo's
oh yeah, he's actually doing pretty good in this fight. He's definitely practiced this, you can tell.
And yeah, Jinny had a really good kill on move off there.
You can one cycle that mini boss. It's pretty tough. There's a lot of lag once the I guess it's a kind of a caterpillar. I don't know what you would call it. Comes out, creates a lot of lag. You put your first 2 shots out. It takes 5 overall. So you're just trying to mash the 3. And in 100%, it's actually with the Buster, it's easier because you can charge a shot going in, and then all you do is kind of let go and press down. So it eliminates, I guess, a quarter of the movement it would take in any percent instead of just having to mash completely down twice. Good movement by Waldo here in the stage. This can be a tough stage. It's really fun if you get it down.
Yeah, just a lot of enemies really packed it tight. It's really nice having the frost shield to use some health for any of the monsters that you do take.
And there's a bit of RNG here on this boss too.
Yeah. Waldo's going to be starting out this fight Buster and then switching to Tunnel Rhino's drills. The drills are very easy but take a long time, so you want to get as much damage done with Buster before the Catfish goes into the desperation attacks.
Yeah, it's only 2 damage for a single drill. If you're able to do a charge drill and you time it right, you can do 3 damage, but we're not going through a Buster upgrade in this run, so you can't use it anyways. And he got okay RNG. I think that'll be, is that 6 drills? You can get down to 4 even, I think, if you're really lucky and you can do the right strats, you can get even less. But you want him to do that move at the very end so he doesn't jump to the center.
There we go. And so on Jinny's screen, man, they're both finishing the fights at the same time, so again, it's pretty tight. With that Buster fight on Tiger, we saw Jinny do really well taking Tiger down, and then that desperation attack at the end is just time where he can't shoot. So that's the unfortunate part of doing it all Buster. But only got 1 rage, so that was pretty quick. Oh, and I didn't mention on Bit, but we'll see it again on Bite, I'm sure. You want to finish off Bit and Bite with Buster because it prevents them from exploding. They just give you a little text box and play. Saves quite a bit of time. The explosions take something like 15 seconds. So they both did a good job on Bit fights to make sure they finish them with the Buster. I imagine we'll see the same from the Bite fights when we get to there.
Yeah, I think it's just his weakness technically, but I can't remember what the damage is like on the other weapons. You just have to make sure not to hit him with his weakness. They have more than 1 weakness. A lot of the times you only have 1 though by the time you get to him. I can't even remember what their other weaknesses are, honestly.
I'm not sure either. Always just good. So, yeah, no bite. They're both on their 5th Maverick right now, so no chance at bite until the next one.
I imagine Waldo's probably going to be finishing stage quite a bit earlier too, because the crawfish stage, very, very fast stage, especially if you don't get bite. And of course, Tunnel Rhino is one of the longest.
Yeah, very long one here. I was a little worried about Jinny's health there for a second. Got some drops going into this mini boss, so it's good. The fastest way to deal with this mini boss is to just mash. Oh, but Jinny looks like he's going to use kind of the regular strategy. Oh, and then jump.
You're just playing a little safe.
Yeah.
I think the average is 3 or 4 hits when you try to mash them. Some people can do it into some crazy people, like Louise.
Yeah. Waldo doing the crawfish fight. So this is actually a really scary fight because crawfish doesn't damage. So you can. He does have some weird iframes, kind of like a lot of the other bosses of the game. After you hit him with the Triad Thunder, I think you've got 2 full seconds. So 1 second will be the iframe, full second after that smash. But Waldo decided to just play it safe, just use the Triad Thunder and make sure that he survived. And Jinny is going into Rhino right now. And Jinny did not take any dust in the stage, so AI. Rhino's pretty trivial fight when he only has 1 move.
Yeah, the only thing he can do is pause in the center, and so he can change direction. I don't think there's a limit, really. I've seen him really juke people out for a while, actually. He can kind of do it infinitely. It really up. See, when you get hit there and he's doing his special, it'll lag the screen as well. So you don't want to do it, but he finished him at least. He's got it. Good job.
No problem. And so now Waldo's on Tiger. So he will have... Oh! Waldo loves doing that little visual glitch. You saw the...
yeah, that's funny.
Platform guy get all screwed up. He loves it. Appreciating.
So many cycles you can get the mini boss in here. There's a ton of lag, and so it starts in the right there. You see the in the center of the screen. There's a flashing light, and the second flash, once it fades out, that's when you can start moving. It's really key to be able to start early. So we got a 3 cycle. It's not too bad, but
yeah,
it helps. That indicator, the visual cue, really important to help you get those first 2 ice shots down.
So yeah, I think Waldo's still in the lead, but with different routes, it's still tough to say. Jinny does have Beetle out of the way already.
I haven't seen anyone not do Hornet last, at least so far. That's for sure. But of course, I hadn't seen anybody do Beetle second, so you never know. Yeah, someone was asking in chat how long they take. 105 to 115. Yeah, the range in total is about 103 to about 125 probably, and both of their times are pretty close. I think they're in the 114, 115 range for their PBs.
Yeah, Waldo has the slightly better race PB, I think about 50 seconds faster. They're both 115. Alright, so we see Waldo with the bite fight, doing the tornadoes, and then goes to the menu to get that tornado off the screen, because otherwise they would just keep hitting bite and would cause the explosion. So that was a really good job to get on top of it.
That's really useful for ice as well, because of course if you miss an ice shot, you need to switch to Buster. It stays on your screen for a very long time. And of course menuing takes a little bit of time, but it's not going to take anywhere near as long as it would to wait it out.
Alright, so Jinny going into the catfish fight, while Tiger. Same thing, we'll see very similar strats that we saw before. Waldo's going to do the Buster fight, but he does have the spinning blade available to him now if he wants to use it late in the fight to prevent desperation attack.
I see Jinny's a couple, he's using his green shots there too. I think he was just trying to shoot his full charge early, but a green from your Buster does no more than a single lemon, unfortunately. And same thing for Tiger. A charge will do 2, and singles in green will just do 1.
That was unfortunate. We switched the spinning blade in time, but just barely didn't get the shot off before Tiger started doing the rage attack. But
still not bad fights though, and they're 2 of the very few, if not the only, RNG boss fights in X3. And they're pretty minimal RNG in comparison to the other games.
So Jinny finishing up that fight just a bit sooner than Waldo. Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 pretty quick stages. Crawfish and Hornet are both pretty fast. And then Waldo's got Beetle and Hornet. Also fairly quick stages. Beetle's probably a little bit longer.
And Jinny has not gone against Bite, I don't think, yet, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So
that's about 30, 35 seconds.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty close.
Alright, he got it here. No? I thought did he wait there? Or it seemed like he paused for a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was expecting it.
It's not ideal to have it in the last stage. It's not a big deal, but Hornet can, just like most of the last bosses that you do in these runs, it seems like Octopus is usually the last one. That one's kind of scary, and then of course Crab can, if you mess it up, you can be a little close. But the last bosses in these runs seem to be ones that you can die. Your percent of dying is a little bit higher than some of the others. So it's good to have full health, and so you don't really want to have Bite if you have the choice, of course, in the last stage.
Yeah, and we see Waldo doing that later climb with the boots.
That was a really good climb.
Yeah, did a good job of getting through there quickly.
There's a lot of different strategies for that climb. It's interesting to see what people use.
And yeah, so Jinny going into Crawfish fight. Waldo's just got this last section. If Jinny can get a good fight, get the mash down, I think we're gonna see. Yep. Then
he's doing the pause strat.
Gets grabbed. That's scary.
He's gonna do his. We'll see if he does his butt dash move.
Yeah, that's the one that can really do some damage.
Because it hits you twice.
Oh man!
You got him.
There it is. Okay.
Good fight. You lose a little bit of time when you pause, but it's tricky. You have to jump right when the Triad Thunder is leaving the screen, basically. Right as it's cusping like the bottom, and then you jump up. You can either jump right next to him, or you can use the wall, but that'll trick Crawfish into using his claw. It'll go up top and give you a little bit of a window once you miss menu. Or I think it's 2 weapon swaps usually, but of course he's fighting him so much later, it's actually probably 3.
And so we saw Waldo taking down Beetle with his weak compared to the fight that Jinny had to do. That's a whole lot easier.
Hardest boss in the game.
Yeah.
And then here's the iceless jumps. So you got the first one pretty early.
Yep.
2 of that was very nice.
Wow. Well done. Those are really...
He was warmed up from the ones in Beetle.
Yeah. Yeah, so gonna have to fight Bite still, but man, I think Jinny's probably got the slightest of leads now. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. It's close.
Waldo just taking the elevator for the first part.
I don't know why he's trying to just go for that. Yeah, there we go. It's a little bit easier to do the air dash. Although it's easy to try to do it too close to the wall, and you'll clip the ledge. I think that's what he was afraid of doing. And if you do 100%, you get the gold armor. You actually get 2 dashes, so you can dash. You could jump off that and then air dash after, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so yeah, looking at the times they got into, I think Waldo might actually still have the lead. It's probably going to come down to the whole boss fight, but he's having a little trouble with this mini boss.
Yeah, this mini boss can be a little bit of a pain. It's less the boss and more of acid is it's kind of a weird weapon. you can throw down, up, or to the side. And sometimes in X3, if you've played it, you notice that if you do an air dash, sometimes you get a canceled air dash really easily, and sometimes you'll do an up air dash when you want to just do a side air dash with the boots. And I think it's very similar. It's just misinterpreting the D-pad movements that you want. It's really touchy, really sensitive.
So, if anybody saw the races that were happening last night, they have one came down to the weapon choice against Hornet. They were even going into the fight, but the spinning blade is a faster way to take down the Hornet, but it is quite a bit harder. So that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, we're really.
This is within a few seconds.
Yeah, I think about 3 seconds.
And this final fight is no guarantee. It's not easy. The spinning blades to time. I assume they're going to use spinning blades here. It's not his weakness. It's a soft weakness, but it can be weird to time. You have to be really close to him, or you have to shoot it to where he's going to be.
So 1 second is the difference.
Wow.
Jinny made it a little bit quicker through that section. Oh. So it's just going to come down to who can fight more easily. If it ends up mattering, I think Waldo did get the sub-take in Rhino, and I don't believe Jinny did, but they're both doing fine so far. I can't imagine that's going to matter.
Yeah, Jinny's still a little bit ahead. He's doing pretty well in this fight. He's only missed one.
Oh, man.
Oh! I think Waldo got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Came out clutch in the very end. I thought that was Jinny's race there at the end there.
According to SRL, Jinny finished first, but Waldo had a typo in typing done. And so that might have to go to the video review. I think Waldo had it by just a second, and that's what the timers on screen say.
Regardless, what a race. That was great.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the rules. According to the race bot, Jinny finished with 1:15.50 and Waldo with a 1:16.01. But we saw on the screen that Waldo got the hit in just a little bit more, just a little bit sooner. So I don't know exactly how that.
Yeah, somebody mentioned in chat too. Jinny's X3 is really good. He definitely had to make a pretty big comeback there, so that was good. Good runs by both players, but yeah, I'm interested in how this will turn out because I'm not sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Jinny gets the winner tag right now, but we might have to have someone clip that so we can confirm. This might come down to a having to time the frames both on the start and all of the switches and make sure everybody got their 30 seconds. And it sure looked like it from where I was on all the swaps. It looked like the 30 seconds was there. And it definitely looked like Waldo got the hit in just about 1 second before Jinny, but I don't know.
Yeah, definitely in chat, I agree. We definitely saw Waldo get the kill first, but if it's going to come to a technicality, they're going to make sure each player went down to that 30 seconds in between swaps that Otter was just talking about, and that's going to be a factor potentially.
Oh, and Conster brings up a good point here. I didn't notice it before, but Jinny is using the English version of X3, whereas Waldo was playing on the Japanese, so that's you have to get time save just from that. That definitely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the count would be for the 8 Mavericks, but in the total game, I believe it's 30 to 35 second difference in 100%. Or I guess it wouldn't matter if it's 100% or not, but there's a lot of text in this game. Majority of it is later, but still, there's quite a bit. You'd want to be on the Japanese version, of course, for X3. X1 and X2, not too bad, especially in 8 Mavs, but that's interesting. I didn't notice that either.
Yeah.
Was he using emulator or is he using a cart? It's actually a pretty rare cart. Really expensive as well.
Yeah, I think, well, let's see. So Waldo is saying he's not going to be available for an interview, but I think Jinny's going to be able to hop in. Let's see, we'll be able to ask him here. Oh, that's right. Jinny was using the virtual console.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember now.
I'm not even sure who won this. I'm not on Virtual Console. I'm
Hey,
on
Jenny.
SNES Classic, which is why I'm running English, because for some reason it won't run Rockman X2 and X3, so I had to run English.
Well,
yeah, we were just talking about that. We're not sure how much of a text difference it is, at least in the when you're doing the 8 Mavericks, but it's going to be a difference for sure.
It's definitely heavy. The longest cutscene in the game is the cutscene where Doppler talks to Bit and Byte and Vile, I think.
And that
So
might be 10
really
seconds
bad.
in itself, yeah.
Well, yeah, so right now we got you marked as the winner. They're going to check it and see on the starts if everything's the same, but how'd you feel about that run?
Not particularly anything. I just got back from ESA, and today is my sickest day as of returning home. So I'm surprised I could even play and perform and do what I usually do. I'm surprised I got those icelesses so nicely and Hornet. I mean, it used to be my thing to always go for them back in the day. So I'm just happy I got them, but I didn't get them in Beetle.
Yeah, the first one in Beetle took a little while, but the ones in Hornet were very smooth. That was really impressive. And,
yeah, like what somebody's saying in chat, I don't know if I deserve to win. We need to check. Like, it's too soon to put up a winner mark on somebody, actually, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know. One thing I noticed, I might have been like a fraction of 30 seconds when switching, so I don't know. But it's, I don't know. I was so caught up in the game, so I just waited approximately 30 seconds.
I was trying to keep an eye on it, and I thought you both waited 30 seconds, but could not.
Yeah, like you can see on my timer that's like you can't see the decimals, but obviously here you can tell like there's a second off here. But I think the decimals matter, but I always forget to put up the decimals. I think if I do manage to move on in the tournament, I'm going to put up decimals because this you can't tell by the numbers I have on my splits right here because it lacks decimals.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, this match was to decide who goes through the knockout round. So as exciting as that finish was, it's been more exciting when you know what's on the line. So
I'm personally fine with either because I think we both played really weird.
Yeah.
And somehow ended up pretty close.
Were you watching the restream so that you could see how close?
Yeah, I was watching. I'm mostly annoyed that Byte showed up on Hornet because I've done this route so many times and he always shows up on Crawfish. So I got really caught off guard when he didn't show up on Crawfish Catfish. But I was shocked that he didn't even show up on Crawfish either. So that messed me up a little bit, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I actually meant to ask, did you mean to, is that your normal Beetle? That's a very different place that we've seen people run Beetle.
I used to have the low percent Buster only record for a long while until Louise came and grabbed it from me.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
So I've been like, I mean, it started off with the meme category from the collection where you can skip all stages and go to the final boss. And I used to run that for marathons. And then I decided, I don't like the PS2 controller. I don't like how it feels to play X Collection. So I just went over to Buster Only. And it slowly became my favorite Mega Man X category to play because you die in 2 hits. So it's kind of like Ninja Gaiden all of a sudden. And I do speedrun that game too.
I'd actually like to see the Sigma fight because I have never tried to do Sigma for Buster Only in X3.
He's not too bad. It's all about, it's a little bit of RNG for the Kaiser form where the big guy.
Yeah.
But as long as you know how to dodge and when you have to like slowly slide down the wall to dodge stuff, it's a lot of reacting to what he does.
And like you said, 2 hits and you're dead unless you grab a lot of hearts.
Yeah. And
that's including the first version of Sigma 2, but he's relatively easy to dodge once you get the pattern down.
They're not too bad, but it's a grind to like get used to how to fight the Sigmas in this game. And don't get me started on Catfish Buster only, dude. Because the room is smaller, first time you fight him, you can actually game over on that guy if he's not nice to you. Because, the Sparks, when he does his Desperation move, once he's down to like 35% health or whatever, there's no safe zone for those, unless you're on task and can dodge everything accordingly. There's no safe zone, so...
I had heard something about him if he jumps right or if he looks right, and you can jump, go on the left corner. Only recently, but I've never actually tried that. And yeah, I died to him
risky, so
when I first started learning the game.
But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter who wins. This race was a bit too crazy.
Yeah, it
was a great race.
A lot of fun.
Because I was watching, because like if I didn't have Bite, and I guess Conster mentioned that if I had English, I might have won by more than...
Yeah, I think if you had the Japanese version, that probably would have been enough of a difference. But yeah, the differences in when Bit and Bite showed up, as well as the differences in route, made it really exciting going into it.
X2 was a disaster. I don't know what happened, because I usually don't die in X2. I usually die in X1, but yeah.
You had a good Gator fight.
My Gator was weird. I did not expect to get the first loot, and then I was like, yeah, let's go for Buster, just to, make sure I do the damage at least. And then suddenly the loot worked, and I was like, okay, we take those. We take those.
Yeah, I think it was a 2-cycle if I remember right, which is pretty... I'll take a 2-cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that in a Gator. I actually, I glotted that for like 35 seconds or something, which was crazy. Yeah, I can't tell from here, but that was a really good glod on Gator. So that fight was insane. Unfortunate stuff on Moth and Snail. I shouldn't have died to Snail. I don't really know what happened. I kept missing the shots, and I forgot what I was doing, so it happens. So
yeah,
it's hectic to run all 3 games like this. It's not like it's hard, but it's hard to keep up consistency and do it fast, and that's the hard part. And to deal with the RNG aside from that, it's a lot. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Whoever wins is, whatever. To me, it doesn't matter. If I win, I'll play. If I don't win, congrats to Waldo. I didn't expect it to be this close, because I figured his race PB is a minute faster than mine, but my actual PB, or with splits anyway that I have, it's 12. I forget.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that because I saw your timer was red a lot of the time, but you weren't far off the race PB I had seen. So
I mean, my summer best is a 109. But I think I can do much better. It's just since I quit playing these games, it's just pure muscle memory. The fact that I can still run these games and play them.
Well, yeah, it was a really exciting race, all back and forth, knowing what was on the line. I really appreciate you guys putting on the show, and also dealing with Twitch not wanting to work. That
was special. Yeah. That kind of threw me off guard in the beginning as well.
Yeah, you guys had about an hour of sitting around practicing, waiting to get started. So
yeah, it was bad.
I appreciate you hanging through all of that.
We panicked because nobody came through to check on us, and I don't know, somebody started the stream. I'm not blaming anybody, so I don't think it's anybody's fault, but somebody started the stream and then just left us there until Cyclone came through, and I'm like, wait, what? What do we do now? We have no control over anything as runners for this tournament.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you putting on the show for us. It was great. We'll have to keep looking at it. I'm not sure who's going to take a look at I think it'll come down to the starts to see if you guys started at the same time. Because we had the timers synced up, and we know how the finish went. I think everybody had good cart swaps. Might come down to just the very beginning. So that's
maybe, yeah. I don't know the full capabilities of how fast / not fast the SNES Mini loads, but I think it's pretty accurate towards SNES, so I think it shouldn't be a problem. But if it is somewhat early, then it's probably that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, if there's any way to really account for that. But it was a very exciting race.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you guys so much for commentating. I heard it was a lot of fun. The funniest part to me with the commentary was, since you guys don't know me, you like all the surprises that I gave you guys was
yeah, you threw us off, especially that next three. That was not what we were expecting.
Well, the gap jumps early on in X3, we could tell that you at least were somewhat experienced with it, of course, but yeah, we didn't know much else.
I attempted the first 2 gap jumps in X2, but I didn't get them, so it's probably less noticeable.
You got I thought you got in, if I remember right, in Sponge. It wasn't first try, but you did get the Sponge, the 2 in Sponge.
Those are, I think, the easiest ones in the game. And then you have a few others. Not optimal, obviously, but there are other jumps in the game where you can do that. And then X3, I have so much experience. I mean, I was the goon who decided it was a good idea. Oh, I don't like air dash, so I'm just gonna pick up every item in the game, do a pseudo 100% route, and then pick up that air dash boost last. That means I had to do Buster upgrade, iceless jump. I had to do Hornet Heart iceless jump, and and every single iceless jump in the run, which is a lot, because you have to do that in a lot of places.
Oh man, well yeah, that's awesome, and it definitely was fun watching you take a little bit different route than we're used to seeing. So I appreciate you putting on a show. That was great.
Yeah. So if the judges can get back to us at some point after this, that'd be nice. I think that's it from me. I gotta open the door because my roommate decided it was a good idea to forget the keys while I was mid X3, and he's complaining that it's been 20 minutes, and I'm like, this is a tournament match. I can't really just leave my setup. Like, okay. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Whoever wins, good luck. And make sure you follow these 2 commentators and Waldo and me if you want. I don't know. I'll be streaming selection stuff.
Yeah, I'll put all the links up there. Be on the lookout. Take a look at the schedule and the standings. This is the very last week of this tournament, so there's going to be a lot of matches going on. I think there's a couple more today, quite a few tomorrow. But yeah, Group A has been settled. Group B, who it comes out of it, is decided by the winner, and we still don't know for sure who that's going to be. I think we might have to go back and frame count it, even. It was so close. But we got some matches coming up in Group C later today. Group D has a couple more, and Group F and G also have 1 or 2 matches left. So a couple more matches the rest of the day. Take a look at that schedule. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Into, you got any last words or anything to share?
Oh, I just said thanks for stopping in, Ginny. It was fun, great race to watch. And I think it's today. It's showing 6 p.m. Eastern for Darrenville versus Yo BGS, and then the next one for today, the last one, would be Tichy versus Magius, and that's at 8 p.m. EST, both on Speed Gaming too.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming by and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye on the standings, because as soon as we figure out who actually won it, it'll be there. But I think that's all I got. Jenny, congratulations again. Waldo, I know you're not here anymore, but congratulations on a great run. That was a lot of fun. And let's see. Yeah, that will do it. Thanks, everybody.